Jake Omen back here at the Wire Wrestling Academy in Fishers, Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. And day number 2 of a tour of the dojo, but pretty much day number 1 as far as explanations go of cool stuff on the walls. Today, I'm focusing on that, and that. The posters of these mostly Japanese gentlemen with these gloves on looking like they're getting ready to kill each other. The reasoning behind that is, in 2016 and 17, I was lucky enough to live in Tokyo, Japan at a professional wrestling dojo. It was the Wrestle One dojo located in Shinjuku, a place called Jin Sports Palace. And W1, as we would refer to Wrestle One, actually split the dojo with K-1 kickboxing. So we had several dorm rooms that were for the professional wrestlers, and there was one dorm room for the kickboxers, which I actually felt bad about because sometimes they had as many kickboxers there as we did pro wrestlers, and that room was small and it stank really, really bad. As far as the dorms for the wrestlers, they still weren't great, but you'd figure out they were a little bit better than the kickboxers ones. But in splitting that with K1, K1 had some associated groups with it. The yellow one back here is Chaos of War, which is a show that was ran featuring kickboxers in Japan, and then KRUSH, which is the other one right here. And these are flyers for KRUSH 80 and KRUSH 81. And these dudes were machines, you know, like just like the wrestlers were. They trained all the time. They ate, they slept, and they breathed kickboxing. And on the 3rd floor of the dojo, it was split into 2. One part was the weight room. So like we would go lift our weights there, everyone would. And then the other half of the room actually had the kickboxing rings and a bunch of the punching bags in it. So while you're lifting weights, we could watch these kickboxers just go ham, right? And they might have been predominantly skinnier in build, but these guys would kick these bags and the bags would legitimately just fold in half, just like this one here. Just imagine if I just cut through like a knife through butter. That's what these guys were capable of, even if they were like 5'6", 120 or 130 pounds. It was pretty wild. So as 2017 went on, where I stayed in Japan the longest, when new kickboxing posters or new wrestling posters would get put up to promote the upcoming events, they would just go ahead and take the poster and put it right on top of the other one and repin it. So the walls around the Wrestle One dojo usually have like 7 or 8 posters deep, actually poked into the wall and into the cork boards and stuff. So eventually I just started taking down the ones underneath it. So I could keep them, because if not, they were just going to end up in the trash. And I got to see a lot of them actually get torn down and thrown in the trash. And I thought, man, that's a real waste. I hate that is just going by the wayside, because these things just look really awesome, right? And there's some really interesting stuff on there too. Like on this one of the girls, the name is just labeled as 443. So like, I don't know the story behind that. Do you know who 443 is? Is she a really awesome badass fighter, which I'm just going to assume she is. One of the guys that lived in the K1 dorm was the Japanese kickboxing champion, and that dude was awesome, super dangerous. Also, side note, the wrestlers didn't really communicate with the kickboxing guys like at all. It would be weird. We shared the same laundry room. We had separate washers and dryers for our stuff and theirs. But we'd walk past each other in the hallways, and especially the Japanese wrestlers and kickboxers just wouldn't really associate too much with each other. And I always thought that was peculiar. I might have been the only wrestler that talked to the kickboxers sometimes, and they were all super cool. And if I wasn't supposed to, I could do what all foreigners do in Japan, which is just plead ignorance, which can get you by with a lot, as long as it's not crossing the line into just blatant stupidity or something to tank your career. So that's why these 3 posters are up on the wall. There's a few other Japanese posters down there, and I'll explain those here in the next couple videos. Once again, thank you for watching what's going on at the Wire Wrestling Academy. Remember to follow us at Wire Wrestling. Subscribe to this YouTube page. Make sure to like all that good stuff. That would really help us out. And I'll catch you later.